Well, Jerry, I'm glad you like them, and I know the feedback has been great, but I'm making these videos not to make money. I'm making them so that the people in the Lagunitas School District understand how the district gets and spends its money. But you're gonna have to tell Netflix thanks, but no thanks. Okay, have a good day. Oh hi, John Carroll here, Superintendent in the Lagunitas School District, and welcome to our third and final video about school funding in the Lagunitas School District. This is the one where we talk about not where the money comes from, but where it goes, and hopefully you'll find it informative. Now, it's not that hard to understand, actually, if you look at it this way. We have one big bucket with all our funding in it, about $3.625 million. That covers a lot of stuff, though. Sounds like a lot of money, but there are a lot of people who work here, and there are a lot of expenses involved in running a school district. Let's point out a few of the key ones. One is we have to have an 8% reserve. That's mandated by board policy and by law. We have to have that. Beyond that, we have to pay people. Classified staff accounts for nearly $1 million worth. When you take into account our teachers, that's a $1.3 million expense to our teachers. So everything else that we have to work with after we've paid for employees is only what's above this line right here. In order to represent dramatically how our biggest expense plays out, let's do this. Every employee has a cup, and they fill that cup up with what their annual salary is. So we have teachers, we have classified employees, we have secretaries, we have custodians, a lot of money. And rather than me filling up this cup several times, let's just see what it looks like when we spend all of the money that we have to on people. This could take a long time. Let's speed it up a bit. Now, after we're done paying everybody, you can see there's not a lot left for other expenses that school districts incur. We have to pay for things like textbooks, training, staff development, electricity, water for our fields, playground equipment. So here is where we have to be really careful. We are not allowed to drop below a reserve of 8%. That is by board policy and law. I want to point out that the 8% reserve is money we have to be able to predict in our budget 3 years from now. So if we get to the end of a school year and we need to spend into our reserve, we can do that as long as we can budget in the future 3 years from now and make sure that we have 8% in the budget. Now let's focus for a moment again on that 8%. Why do we have to maintain 8%? Well, it's called an 8% prudent reserve, and being prudent means we're ready for stuff to happen that might impact us financially. It's always really hard to put an exact number on what our reserve is, but just for the sake of argument, I'm not saying it is this, but what if it's $250,000? It's going to be more than that, but what if it's around that? We could have a one-time expense that could wipe out a huge portion of that really quickly. And what we think about most is, what if we got one student who moved into our school district, who we need to serve and who we want to serve, who had really special needs, and we did not have the facilities or the expertise to address those needs. When a student like that comes into our district, we generally place that student somewhere else, but the district still pays for it. So when that happens, suddenly your $250,000 reserve is now $150,000. If two students like that move in, you can see where the trend goes. So things like that can and do happen, and we're only talking perhaps 2, 3, 4 kids, and suddenly the reserve is not what it used to be. And of course there's Mother Nature. It's really windy today, and on days like this I think, what would happen if a tree or a branch fell down and made us have to pay for a new roof? That's the kind of thing that a reserve is there for. So in a district like Lagunitas, we have to be really careful with our spending. We have to make sure that we're using our money very wisely to make sure that we're meeting the needs of all of our students. Whenever we have an expense, if there's something we want, we really have to think carefully about whether or not we're going to pay for that thing or not, or for that service. So thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this 3-video series. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me at this email address. That's jcarroll@lagunitas.org. And thanks very much for watching.